said you had some updated news. I'm looking at Ryan Clark wearing a split gray and pink suit, but you got some updated news on Rashee Rice?
Yeah, so Albert Breer tweeted something about an hour ago now. They said they were going to mention it last night, but the game went to OT and it kind of took that timing of it. So I just tweeted a response to it a couple minutes ago, but they basically said that the tentative plan for Rashee Rice, who was placed on IR yesterday, is to have a knee scope on Monday and to determine the severity of the injury and the treatment plan going forward. The initial concern in his injury to both the ACL and the PCL. So I'll do a more detailed video later about this because this is a little complicated. But long story short, he had direct trauma from Mahomes. He was planted, which puts more weight on the knee. And there's now a lot of swelling. He's reportedly wearing a knee sleeve, but walking around, which tells me it is certain things and not others. And the fact that they didn't put him on season-ending IR immediately tells me that it's not one of the more obvious things. With that being said, the fact that they mentioned ACL and PCL, which is consistent with the trauma, does kind of tell you. And some people, as good as the MRIs are, sometimes you can't see the severity of the ACL without visually seeing it. So that's why they're going to go in and scope and literally look with the camera and say, hey, what does this show? How does, I have my little model here. They're going to basically go in, they're going to say, hey, how is the meniscus? Okay. They're going to look at, okay, ACL attaches here. How's the attachment? How's the mid body? Has the middle of the rope or the tendon? Okay, it attaches. It looks good there. Okay, PCL, how does that look? Does that have any partial tears in it? How was that attached? Is there any cartilage damage, which is kind of up on the top part here, above the on the femur? And is there any cartilage injury there, which would be consistent with what the significant swelling? So this is one of those situations where they've talked beforehand and they said, okay, there's one of two things. You're just going to go in and evaluate everything. Or they're going to say, hey, if there's an ACL, if there's a bad PCL, if there's cartilage injury, if there's meniscus, here's our plan. Here's what I'm going to do. So I don't obviously know which route they're going to go. Maybe they're just evaluating first, then pulling out and saying, okay, here's our plan.
Man, so they did not know when Andy Reid at halftime said it's bad. All I can tell you when he was interviewed. So afterwards, obviously, they knew something was up. And then, so they don't put him right on IR because of what you just said. They haven't really discovered if it's really just torn to shit, if it's a bad sprain, if it's a bad, or do you say we know for a fact one side or the other is torn, or you don't know?
Yeah. So sometimes it's super obvious, and my suspicion is Reed was getting information from the team doc saying, hey, his knee is super loose. Yeah. Usually that correlates with a bad ACL and or a bad PCL, meaning torn or partially torn. But after the swelling calms down, or it sounds like it really hasn't yet, which isn't surprising, then you can actually get a good visual of how many fibers are still intact, how much is torn versus partially torn. So people are going to wonder, what scenarios here is it possible for him to come back this year? And I will say the only thing, if there's any damage to the ACL, he's done. If this is a mild, let me rephrase that. If there's any damage to the ACL, that's a partial or more tear. If it's just sprained but fully attached and still pretty strong, that's good news. Same thing with the PCL. As long as it's no longer attached, that's relatively good news. That's what Puka Nacua has. When you put them together, which is the most likely scenario, because the ACL and the PCL are crisscrossing. So when he took this hit, both of them were taut. So now they're really loose. And that's when the knee basically does whatever the hell it wants, because the two ligaments that are supporting it, that are opposing each other, can't do that because it's like an elastic band that's loose. Like they don't have that tautness right now.
Hey, Doc, my dog, my female dog, Callie, I just spent $4,500 on a fucking ACL surgery. So she's recovering. On that model you just showed, they showed me the X-ray and like they showed me everything that I got a list of shit I got to do for this dog every day. And she's like miraculously recovered. Like she's no bruising right now, no fluid, no swelling. Like she had it done Sunday.
Wow.
And like she's fucking running around over here. And I'm like, holy shit, girl, calm down. But she's got big sutures in. But they showed me the thing. So it's what you just showed me. So that ligament that's in front of the bone, I guess they put some sort of like connector.
Yeah, so they basically drill. They drill
bone,
here
right?
and up here, basically, to make it easy here. Then they decide where they're going to get their graft from. Some people use what we call allografts, meaning or donor graft from another person, or I guess another dog in that situation. But for NFL players, that's a no-no. They're not strong enough. They're just high risk of tearing. Older people that aren't overly like active, then okay, that's fine. But if you're under 40, in my opinion, you just use your own graft. The most common one has always been the patellar tendon to reconstruct the ACL. Some people are using the quad tendon, and some people use the hamstring tendon. It just depends on the surgeon and how they prefer.
Do you think that this whole thing could be a deterrent? Do you think this Ray Rice IR situation, due to the fact that the Chiefs have just been riddled with off the field issues, do you think this is another way of just slowing down the process after the latest things that we saw over the weekend with Ray Rice's or Rashee Rice's mom? Do you think she thought this was a new knee in this box?
What? I don't even know where to begin with this video.
You think she thought that was a new ACL?
I literally don't know. Like, I don't understand.
It seems like all the Rices are fucked up besides Jerry Rice. I mean, Rashee.
Can you be any more obvious of who you are with what you're wearing? No.
And got the kid, and then she looks at the camera like, fuck, it's me. Like,
I mean, I didn't even see the full video. I saw the little clip a previous time, and I'm like, huh? But I don't know. I can't explain that one. That one's out of my pay grade.
I mean, I seriously, I'm fucking around, obviously, but seriously though, there could be some sort of like, let's slow this down. We know his leg's shot. He's done for the year. That's why they put him on IR. IR puts you out what? Automatically 8, right? Oh,
4 months. Minimum 4, not including bye. So it's 5.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just saying, could they do that to say, all right, we know it's shot, but we got to take the heat off this?
Maybe that's their PR team. And then obviously he still has that likely upcoming suspension. So which we'll talk about that at a later point in time. But long story short, if he ends up needing surgery, that's going to hold him out until next year. That only starts when he's active, from my understanding. So that means that he would have to be activated in order to serve it. So in my opinion, they would almost activate him early to say, hey, if he has a 4 games, whatever it is, and then just say, hey, we're going to activate him early. He's going to serve the suspension, and then by that time, he'll be actually ready to return. I
brought that up, Doc, when it happened, because I said, listen, that doesn't matter until he gets this legality part is actual sentence. Boom, here's your time. Now you don't get time served.
No, I mean, I don't think they'll be lenient on him. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to wipe it out. You know,